is up, Panther Nation? The sun is shining, we've got some pep in our step, and I swear I hear some Blue Jays chirping. Football season is finally upon us, and started off with a bang, more or less. This Sunday, our Carolina Panthers went head-to-head with the San Francisco 49ers, and we came up victorious, despite looking a little bit rusty at times. While a loss in this game would have been considered a major disappointment, it was impressive to win to the degree that we did, considering the wealth of mistakes that we made. That being said, there was a lot to take away from this scrimmage, some surprising and some, well, predictable. This week, the Brothers Blue presents 3 things we learned, where we'll take a look at a few things that this game showed us about ourselves along the way. Let's get things kicked off with the first thing we learned playing the 49ers. Number 1. We're glad to have Russell Sheppard. Since the beginning of the Rivera era, we've been looking for a reliable possession role receiver. The closest thing we've had is current receiving coach Kuechly. But along the way, we put our eggs in the baskets of Brendan LaFell, Legadou Nane, and most recently Philly the Sleeves Brown. Though coming into the regular season, it seemed as if Russell Sheppard had the most potential of the bunch. Combining Kuechly's route running, Brown's speed, and LaFell's school, and luckily nothing more. But the anticipation for his season skyrocketed when his very first touch as a Panther resulted in a 40-yard touchdown, almost entirely of his own doing. Later on, he showed great balance and vice grip hands as he made an acrobatic catch right on the sideline. If Sheppard can become a consistent weapon, we may have the most well-rounded receiving core we've seen in a long time. Moving on to the next thing we learned on Sunday. Number 2. Luke is back. After missing a chunk of last season due to a major concussion, Luke Kuechly looked a lot like the defensive mastermind he is. The 2013 Defensive Player of the Year logged 7 total tackles and a brilliant interception on a read that showcased his unique blend of football IQ and athleticism. Though he's easily the NFL's best at what he does, this was all made possible by our strong pass rush. Stated by Luke here.
We did a good job of getting some guys in his face. And I don't know if he saw me because those guys were rushing hard. So, we'd seen that play a bunch of times and we were finally able to get one.
The line really did look good in both pass rush and run stopping. Especially $1 million man K1 Short and perennial fringe player Wes Horton. But if there's one thing we learned in this past year, it's that the Panthers are really good at turning fringe players into big-time contributors. But back to our golden boy. The only thing stopping Luke at this point are head collisions, and he's actually taking precautions this year. He's one of the first players to wear an experimental device called the Q collar. The piece, which is modeled after the woodpecker, is designed to reduce brain movement during head-to-head collisions by putting pressure on the jugular vein and ultimately causing the brain to fit snugly in the skull, instead of hitting the skull on impact. You'll see how effective it is firsthand during the regular season, but if there's even a chance it keeps Luke on the field and helps reduce brain trauma in players, I am all in. Finally, we have the last thing we learned this week. Number 3. Super Cam is super rusty. There's no sugarcoating it. Newton struggled heavily. Both his timing and his accuracy were sporadic, especially in the first half where he went 8 of 19 with an interception. There were points where he would just miss wide open wide receivers, including a would-be touchdown that sailed far over Ed Dixon's outstretched arms. Luckily, we didn't face a particularly dominant defense week 1 because I could have easily seen him throw multiple picks against an apt secondary. The silver lining, of course, is that while Newton's play was subpar for some of the game, he also made quite a few strong throws and seemed to get better as the game moved on. He's clearly getting back into the groove of things after the shoulder surgery, and we're almost guaranteed to see him improve week to week. Or at least he better. We'll only go as far as the 2015 NFL MVP takes us. In other news, the Panthers have reached out to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whose players, coaches, and families have flown to Charlotte in wake of Category 4 Hurricane Irma. The Dolphins-Buccaneers game had originally been rescheduled due to the typhoon's potential damage to Miami, but it turned out to be Tampa Bay and Western Florida to receive the brunt of the force. Of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to all those affected, not only the storm itself, but also the flooding that will last for weeks and cost Florida and its residents billions. Roughly 6.5 million Floridians are without power as we speak, and the damage done by this powerful hurricane will take years to rebuild. The Panthers providing a home for the Buccaneers organization shows us that humanity's capacity for compassion can transcend rivalry, animosity, or even sports in general. After all, before fans, or even Americans, we're first human beings. Well, we are going to end on that note, Panther Nation. If you liked this video and you want to see some more content from the Brothers Blue, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to our page. And as always, be sure to answer our question of the day in the comments section. What are you most excited about for this football season? Whether it be fantasy football or Sundays with the family, let us know what football means to you. I will see your beautiful faces soon. Stay blue, my friends.